What's up, y'all? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. If you could hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button to stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content. So we are on the second to last video for the love series. This has been dragging out for quite some time. As I told you guys in some of the previous videos, I have been falling behind a lot, but we're going to get this done. Per my last video, I'm still quite not at 100% by the time of this recording. I'm feeling a little better. For those who might have just clicked on this video or, you missed the other few videos, first of all, go ahead and check those out. Running a cold right now, unfortunately, and it sucks because it's during spring break. But I guess it's better to have it now than have it while, school is in session and I miss work and, because I don't want to get nobody sick or anything. But anyways, I should be over it soon. Colds typically don't last long with me. But without further ado, this is part 7 of the love series. And today we are going to be talking about 3 more mistakes and bad choices that men typically make while dating, except this time, it's not going to be based on what Marcus thinks. It's going to be based on fellas that I've talked to, that I'm personally close to, ones that I trust their solid advice, including, some points that my mentor gave me and some older men gave me as well. Typically, what I tried to do is I tried to just combine what was most common. And I'm also going to give you guys a few honorable mentions. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So, the first mistake that I gathered, or one of the most common, these are not in any particular order, just to let you know, that or bad choice that men typically make while dating is very similar to the one that I did for the ladies. And that is allowing a woman to stay in the picture knowing who she really is. Now, the one thing I can say, and ladies can argue against this, is perfectly fine. This is my opinion. But I believe that men actually love harder than women. And I'm going to tell you why I feel that way. The reason why I feel like men love harder than women is because, ladies, we have to work for your love. Now, I know you may be thinking, well, we got to work for a guy's love, which is somewhat true, but we typically have to work a little harder. The thing about it is, ladies, you guys can get anybody you want. You may not think you can, but you really can. And the reason why I say that is because guys will always jump on you. Even if it's not the guy that you really want, it will happen. He will be in your face. He will be in your DMs, so on and so forth. Where with us guys, we typically have to kind of strategize in a sense to get the woman that we want. Even the top tier guys, to some degree, still have to strategize. Not them for the most part, but, average guy like me, I got to figure out how to work the motion. So the thing about it is, though, is a lot of times when us men, we find a woman that we really like, we do whatever it takes to keep her because we know she comes a dime and a dozen. The problem with that, fellas, is from what I was told, is we often do that not realizing that if we continuously work on ourselves and better ourselves, we'll have more options. But we stay, even if we have more options sometimes, because we feel like that's the best option that we've gotten, not really knowing what's out there. Again, this can go both ways, but I just found this very interesting and was like, oh, this is very interesting to what I said about the ladies, which really goes to show that some of this is interchangeable. Not all of it, but some of it definitely is. Second thing I noticed from what I was talking to the fellas and, as far as mistakes and bad choices that men make, it is sleeping around too often. Now, this is going to be, and I'm laughing because I already know some man is going to completely disagree with this. But listen, again, this is not Marcus. This is, men that I've talked to, which actually, to be honest with you, I actually agree with this point. And the reason why he brought this up, the guy I was talking to was because, and it just so happened that a lot of fellas were on the same page, was because he felt like, well, typically when men, sleep around, you got to be careful how you're depositing your seed. And regardless if you are having protected, or unprotected, it's not necessarily a good thing for you to be with so many people, because although, that affects men and women differently, it still affects people. And there's still this thing called soul ties. And a lot of fellas, they oftentimes they think, oh, I could just, get and lay down with any woman I want. When here's the reality, it's a problem because you're building bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies, not realizing that you're going to have to get rid of that at some point. You got to get rid of those spirits. You know what I'm saying? And a very, very close friend of mine, I remember we were having, one of my brothers actually, we were having a conversation about this years ago. And he was talking about, just how, hey, having, all the sex before marriage is not really a good thing because, especially as a believer, because you build on so much that you start comparing your partner that you're marrying to other men or other women. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a big mistake that a lot of men have as well, or that make while they're dating. I actually agree with this 100%. Like, I know, men, we may have the capability to lay down with multiple women, just like women have the capability of laying down with multiple men, but it's not really a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Another point that stood out to me as far as mistakes and bad choices that men make while dating is overly pursuing. And I couldn't agree with this more. And the overly pursuing is more so along the lines of when a woman is not interested, they keep trying, and trying instead of just simply walking away. Fellas, I've said this on this channel before, and I'm going to continue to say it as long as it's breath in my body. When a woman says no, it is no. Anything less than a yes is a no. Maybe is a no. Possibly is a no. Could be is a no. I'll think about it, it's a no. Maybe some other time is a no. All right? If she doesn't say yes to your advances, move on. Okay? It is what it is. We get this fairy tale mindset, as I've brought up over and over again, that, oh, well, we're just going to go ahead and, continue to pursue her. And, things are going to work out. And she's eventually going to crack. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work. I can't tell you how many times when I was younger I made that bad choice. You know what I'm saying? That's not even a mistake at this point. That's a bad choice. If you do it one time in your life, okay, all right, I give you a pass. It's not good, but you're learning. But if you continuously do it over and over again, this is something you got to think about. And you got to realize that maybe I'm not doing something right. All right? Because you got to understand, there's a billion people on this earth. If a woman says no to your advances as far as you taking out on a date or whatever, there's another woman that's going to say yes. I'm just saying, okay? And some honorable mentions, very interesting honorable mentions. I'll give you guys about 2 or 3 of them. I would say one of the honorable mentions, as far as mistakes and bad choices men make while dating, is not being open enough about their emotions. And that's a very interesting one because most men let them tell it. They'll say, well, if you open up to a woman and be emotional, she'll leave you. I don't find that to be true. I think if you're overly emotional, it can be an issue because women are typically emotional individuals. You can't be more emotional than a woman. That is a problem. Yes. However, I don't think there's any issue with showing emotions. I think it's just how much you show, and of course, remembering that there's a time and a place for everything. So, I definitely can agree with that. Not showing any emotion at all can be an issue. Although I will say this, there are some women that will still get with some dudes that show no emotion. So I guess that may vary, but it's always good to have some emotional variety. That's my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? Another mistake that was common with men is trying to get back with their ex after they've messed up. I thought this was both sides when this was brought up to me, really. But then I thought about it, and I was like, nah, it's men that do this more than anything. Not saying that women don't do that when they mess up, but more often than not, women are a lot faster to move on than men because of how women are programmed. So men will typically try to milk the cow until it's completely dry, right? And in some cases, that could be a good thing because you could get something started up again and, work some things out. But when you were at the fault of a relationship failing, fam, you need to let it go. I can't tell you how many women friends I've had where they constantly said, their exes kept trying to get back with them and they didn't want anything to do with them, but they kept trying over and over and over again. Now, I will say this, and I'm going to put the script on the ladies just for a quick second. Oftentimes when a guy keeps doing that, it's because you've let him in one too many times. Now, there are some guys out there that are just overly persistent, and it's cruel and it's sickening. But oftentimes, with us guys, I would say 90% of us, I ain't gonna say 100%, but 90% of us, if you say no, we are going to be like, okay. You say, especially if you say no enough times, we be like, man, I ain't trying to deal with this shit. She don't want me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Just saying. You might find that 10% that might be like on some other stuff that keep trying over and over and over again. And in that case, you might need to block that person. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I think, fellas, I agree with that. Once it's over, it's over. And especially if you're the one that screwed it up, you just got to take that L, fam. There has not been an ex where I messed something up and I kept trying to make it right. If I cheated, if I was wrong, if I was disrespectful, if I was anything of the sort, once she left me, I let it be what it was. Or if I broke up with her, I let it be what it was. Now, do I have some relationships where if I broke up with a woman and I kind of regret it later on doing it? Yes. But am I going to get that back with that woman? No. Now, some people would say, well, Marcus, that's pride. I'm like, no, that's not pride, but I need you to understand that once you let go of a woman, she's always going to have that in her mind. There's a possibility this dude might let me go. You know what I'm saying? And things are not going to be the same. And I can tell you from first-hand experience what I dealt with my freshman year in high school. I'll get into that story another day. I mean, not freshman year in high school, freshman year in college. I'll get to that story another day. All right? And last honorable mention, since this kind of just popped up in my mind from another conversation I was having, another mistake that men typically make while dating, or bad choice, is thinking that they have all the time in the world just because time is different on them. And it's so funny because I actually brought this up in a shorts video. I'm not going to dive too deep into that right now because I mostly talk about it in that reel if you want to check it out. But yeah, time is not on our side because, like I said before, time doesn't belong to us. So especially if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not leveling up. Because here's the thing that you got to realize, fellas. At the end of the day, we got to come with it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know some fellas, they may be thinking, oh, it's not fair. Ladies are just, they ain't got to really come with it and this and that like we do. And it is what it is. It's such as life. You know what I'm saying? If you're not top tier, then you're not going to get top tier results. And that's not to say that you got to be rich, that you got to have it all together. No, I'm not saying that at all. But you have to come with a game plan, all right? I don't care what anybody says. People will try to preach this narrative that women will, oh, well, if she really respects a guy, she'll take him no matter what. That's true to an extent. But you still got to have a game plan. Because here's the thing. Women, and I know some guys complain that some women mess around with Pookies and Ray Rays and Chads and stuff like that. Women don't mess with those guys forever. Now, let me pause there. I'm not saying that you should get with a woman after she done ran around all the bad guys and now all of a sudden ran around with the bad guys. Now all of a sudden she wants to get with you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. But there are some women, number one, that don't mess with Pookies, Chads, or Ray Rays at all because of how they were raised. And number two, there are some that may come across one who's not that great for them, and they catch on real fast and be like, nope, that wasn't good for me. I learned my lesson quick. Let me go ahead and adjust my way of thinking and my way of leveling up. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why I'm saying all that is because a real woman ultimately will get with a guy that has a game plan. All right? If she does not get with a guy that has a game plan, she's not a real woman. Just gonna keep it real. Because real recognizes real. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a man, I'm not gonna get with a woman that does not have a game plan. But the difference between men and women is we are the leaders. All right? And women want a man that can lead. That's just it. A woman wants a man that can lead, point blank, period. Even if you don't necessarily make more than her, which is something that I recommend, to be honest, she still wants you to lead in some capacity. You still got to have a game plan. And that game plan is on full display from the time that you meet that woman all the way to the time that, God willing, you marry her and beyond. You don't have a game plan in place, bro. This, now I'm speaking from my opinion, right? Not right now. You don't have a game plan in place, she's not going to get with you. That's just it, point blank, period. Nothing you can do about it. Or better yet, let me rephrase that. She might get with you, but she's not going to stay with you. All right? You the leader. We leaders, bro. So that means we got to be able to show ourselves approved, as the Bible would say, right? If things go sour, she's leaning on us to make sure we can handle it. Now, I know some of you guys might be thinking, and I'm going to bring this up real quick because I know this is probably going to be a common question at some point. Well, Marcus, so is she just sitting around doing nothing? No. A woman has her responsibilities just like a man does. But guess what? We are protectors. We are providers. We are leaders. And that's ultimately what a woman wants. I don't care how many times a woman complains about a man. I've had family members where they complain about men that were in their lives. But guess what? I'm going to tell you why they stayed with them. Because these men were leaders. A leader's not perfect, but a leader is well needed in the household, regardless if children are in there or not, but especially if children are in there. You know what I'm saying? So that's it. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a tangent there. I just really wanted to make that clear because some men don't understand that. I mean, like, look, I'm single and I completely understand that, you know, but also that's because I've had men in my life that put me on game, and I can apply that for when the time comes for the woman that I meet, you know, wherever she may be, whenever God's ready to reveal. But anyways, this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesday, to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you so much for joining me. Greatly appreciate. This video went a lot longer than I expected it to be. But hopefully the sound advice that some men that I trust gave me can also be applied for you. If there's any other mistakes or bad choices that you feel like men typically make in relationships, fellas, leave a comment below and share this video. It may not be for you, but I can guarantee it's for somebody you may know. Until next time, peace.